G'day, folks, and welcome to Creative Conversations. I'm Dave Fuller, and this week my guest, joining me all the way from Newcastle, that's Newcastle just north of Sydney, not Newcastle, England, is Adam Price. And Adam's an old mate of mine. Good to see you, Adam. Welcome.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure, mate. Pleasure. So Adam is a songwriter, musician, just all-around good guy. How about that? So he's going to talk to us today about, well, hopefully about the songwriting process, what it is to be a songwriter in his world. But before we do that, before we chat about that, I'm going to do what I always do at the beginning of these shows, and that's ask Adam what drink he brought along. So I'm curious if he'll break the mold today. Oh, what have we got there?
It's cheap as chips, whiskey.
Whiskey. Okay, so very good. Finally, someone bought an adult drink. I think everyone's bought coffee up until now. I should have bought one myself, right. but I bought coffee. So there you go. Very nice. And why whiskey, mate?
I love it. I wish I could afford the good stuff. This one's all right. It's that was the Irish one. Jameson. That's it.
Yeah.
You get more of it for less.
It's not a bad whiskey, mate. I don't mind it at all. and you drink it neat. So you're a brave.
I can't order it down.
You're a brave man as well.
A real man.
Okay, mate. Creativity. When did you know that you were creative? Was there a moment in time that it just dawned on you that you were musical, that you could write? Or did it just sort of creep up on you?
I think I still ask myself, am I creative to this day? More so recently, because I find myself asking, am I creative? Is this what I want to still do with my life? And it always comes back to yes. But I think in the beginnings, I grew up in a school that was quite sport orientated, and I like sport, I still do, but I just never really fit in with all of that crowd, and it always confused me that I felt so different. But music, I saw a drum kit set up in the music room in Year 7, and I just had to go and sit down and work it out, and drama classes and art and all of that stuff really interested me, but I didn't know. I figured it out later in hindsight. It makes sense, but at the time, it was just, I didn't feel like I fit in with the norm of being into sports and all the mainstream stuff. But looking back on it, it was probably I was about 12-ish when it really started to happen for me. But in saying that, I always think, am I creative? Maybe I'm just rubbish, and not that it matters, but
we might delve into that a little bit, mate. What would make you doubt that you're creative?
Why would I doubt it? Good question. When I'm creating for myself and when I do it just because I love it, I'm creative, no doubt. But there's a lot of times I think there's just my brain's trying to justify that. You've got to be something. Like, what are you? Who are you? And so judging myself from what other people would think of me, I suppose. So, am I creative? Because is my art and the stuff that I'm making, is it any good? And if it's not, then I'm not creative. Which that sounds odd, but that's my thought process anyway. I'm only creative if other people think that I make good things.
Well, you must be creative, mate, because I think you make good things. There you go. Let's put that one to bed. You are creative, my friend, no question. I first stumbled across you. I think it was your lovely wife, Heather, who gave me a CD of yours. I probably never told you this story, but back in Cotton Sidewalk days, your band of the time, Heather gave me a CD. And I actually, that day, pulled an all-nighter in my job. I was sitting in my office on my own, and I chucked that CD on about 7 p.m. and it was still on heavy circulation at 6 a.m. It went all night. That's so I got to know that album pretty well. When did you write, though, your very first song?
What's a song, Dave? Because I'm pretty sure it was a little chorus, almost reached like a finished song back when I was working in my nan's garden with her. I don't even know what age. It must have been young because, yeah, I was hanging out with my nan.
That's pretty cool. So out in the garden, what, it just came in your head, started singing along?
Yeah, I even remember it. Looking for weeds, looking for weeds, looking for weeds in Nan's garden.
Oh, I love it, mate. It's probably better than my first effort. Very good.
You can have that one.
Thanks, mate. I'll take it and see what I can do. From there, though, was that something you continued, or was just a one-off thing, came back later on when you started to actually write what you would think of, not that isn't, by the way, but think of as an actual piece?
You mean what kind of made me realise I liked writing songs?
Yeah, that's a great place to start.
I think I just loved music. I think, I'm thinking quickly here, but there's a memory I have of when I was, would it be 10-ish, so what's that, 16-ish. And I listening to bands, I was in bands, but we were writing our own stuff, that my friend and I were in a band, and I just didn't understand why the local street rag, all the gigs that were in there were for cover bands, and the up and coming stories of new artists and things. It was all about the performance or the fact they were in a band or something, but I just couldn't work out how they weren't playing their own songs. So me and my mate must have been writing for a couple of years at that stage. So being 14 or 15 when we were writing, I think it was just curiosity that, okay, how did the Foo Fighters write that song, or how did such and such do that? Like, let's try and do it. And lyrics and music, we're just obsessed with it, I suppose. And from there, probably sucked pretty bad at it, but not trying to get good because we thought we were going to do something with it, but it was just, we loved it. So we, just using our ear and our fascination, got better and better at it.
So the same curiosity that had you jump on a drum kit in year 7, it was the same sort of driving curiosity that had you start to write and pull songs apart to construct your own.
I think so.
What challenges did you face, or have you faced, still face even, to pursue that writing?
What challenges do I face at the moment?
Well,
have I faced?
Yeah, at any point in time, now, past.
As in the challenges that inspired the songs, or?
Well, not necessarily. I was thinking more, what things have you had to overcome to actually do it?
Okay. When I was younger, not really anything. I was quite free to, I'd lived with my parents until I was nearly mid-20s, and I was quite creative in that sort of, in the early 20s I was very creative, but I had the freedom to just, mum and dad had cooked dinner and probably do the washing and everything, and I could sit down and write a song whenever I felt like it, even if it was 2 o'clock in the morning and mum and dad were asleep above me, and I'd wake them up and they'd yell at me. But I was spoiled in that regard, so there was nothing stopping me. But yeah, it's an interesting question, because as I've grown up and, you get a partner and we've ended up having children and you work, and by the time you come home after work, you're tired or you want to spend time with your family. And there's other things that you need to be doing. Yeah, to then be able to allocate some time to creativity and then feel like doing something when it comes to that time. Yeah, that's a big challenge. Versus being able to just do it whenever I felt like it.
It's a challenge I can relate to. What about resistance? Have you ever encountered actual resistance to getting it done? So whether that's internal resistance or external resistance to your writing.
What's external?
It could be as simple as, hey, you need to be doing something else. That's
okay. No, I think if I really wanted to, I'd stay up late at night and get it done. The procrastination's there sometimes. It's much easier, very easy to sit on the couch and turn the telly on, and then the night's gone and you got to go to bed. But it's a trick. Just go and sit down just for a little bit, and then 2 or 3 hours are gone that you could have written a song. It's a bit sad, really, when that happens. Missed opportunity, Dave.
Well, that's kind of an internal resistance, actually. I would see that as.
Sorry, I was talking about internal first, but when it's external, yeah, like I said, if I really wanted to, nothing's stopping me because I could do it at night time when people are asleep.
All right, well, let's talk about process then. When you actually do sit down to write, I'm curious, and it's probably one of the main reasons I do this, is to unpack how people go about this, whether they're songwriters, artists, composers, architects, whatever. What is the process, routine? How do you go about it? Do you have a particular starting point?
Yeah, I've got to have something to write about. I don't think I've written a song where or even created anything really if there hasn't been some sort of emotional factor. So that's where it starts. That's where the inspiration comes from. And then regarding songs, probably lyrics are usually helpful if they are the first thing to come. I've been writing more lyrics where I just haven't really been concerned if they turn into a song or not. But at the time when they're coming out, it feels like a song, but there's just no melody necessarily to the words. Which has sort of resulted in a couple of hip-hop-ish sort of songs, like sort of spoken word hip-hop-ish kind of things. We've got a lot of things to say and a lot of rhymes to put down, and I'm really into hip-hop at the moment. So lots of words, less melody.
Has that always been the way, Adam? Have you always written lyric first, or is that something that has happened over time?
Over time, I think. I always thought I wasn't a proper songwriter because I'd write the melody first and then put the words to it. And I never really totally enjoyed how that came out, because then the melody was always the thing I knew was the first. The words really didn't mean anything because they were just contrived to fit the melody. Whereas when the words come first, it feels more authentic. And so no, it hasn't always been that way.
So, okay, you've got an idea for a song or a lyric. How do you capture that? What's your process in making sure that you don't lose that?
It used to be, I'm thinking, when I had the freedom to more time, it would be writing words down and probably even getting to put a demo down, like record something of significance that would mean I was definitely not going to forget. But now I've written songs through the voice memo thing on my phone. which I'm sure is not uncommon, but I actually own a dictaphone just here that I found the other day because I purchased it like 15 years ago thinking, yeah, what a great idea. I'll never forget an idea again. I'll take it with me everywhere. And then I just somehow forgot about it. And, smartphones came into existence and yeah,
Well,
that's what I use.
so that's interesting. So you bought a dictaphone so you'd never forget an idea. You just forgot the dictaphone. I guess.
That's right.
Well, I guess one of the beautiful things about smartphones is they pretty much go everywhere with you. So.
Well, yeah, someone should have said that to me. Adam, that's a bad idea because who takes a dictaphone with them everywhere?
That's very funny. But
there it is.
Oh, all right. Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Classic.
I think I had
digital.
Yeah. Very good. And does it actually still work?
If it had some batteries in, I think so.
Yeah, very good.
It could be a good idea.
Could be. Might go somewhere.
I'll give you the model number later.
So the voice memo, obviously, as you say, I mean, it's something you use. What about, do you do the lyric that way? So if you've got a lyric idea, you capture that as well, just a spoken word or whatever, and make sure you don't lose it, or you still
words. Because at work, melodies would come and song ideas would come, and that's it. I better get this down so I can get back to work. But words, yeah, they're more of a journaling kind of diary entry thing, where if I force myself to put pen to paper, I'll come up with something. Might not necessarily be very good, but it'll be something. I don't remember thinking of a song lyric and having to put that on like a voice memo. Yeah.
You've mentioned journaling. Is that something you do habitually, or is it just an ad hoc thing?
I should. I've just moved into a new place here, and this is my beautiful green studio that's getting fitted out. I was putting some old songbooks and journals away and happened to procrastinate and get sidetracked and start reading some of them. And
as you do,
I thought to myself, I should journal more, because what I thought was rubbish at the time, I was reading back, and some of it was what I thought was quite usable. Yeah, and it's like sitting down watching the TV with that wasted opportunity to create something. I thought, well, even if it's 10 minutes before I go to sleep, just to vomit something out into the book or whatever, and who knows what's going to come out. At the worst, it's going to make me feel better because I've created or I've had that release, which is one of the things I like most about writing songs, is the mindfulness of, it's out.
Yep, and there's something else I can relate to as well. How do you handle distractions, mate? I mean, I know you have 2 gorgeous daughters, and young kids have a habit of interrupting, amongst other things, of course. How do you handle just day-to-day distractions when you're trying to create?
Well, I don't think I do. If I'm in the zone, I tend to be distracted by the creating, and the girls in real life get forgotten about.
That's a little bit in the
been a point of contention with a relationship with Heather, but yeah, I'm getting better at sort of managing a balance between. I don't remember ever trying to create. Actually, yes, I do. There's been times when I've been trying to come up with something and girls will be just jumping on my back and stuff. But I don't know. I like them a lot, so it's easy to just give up on writing the song or whatever's happening and just be with them. But yeah, I'd say more safe if I let myself go into that zone where, all right, I'm writing a song, or I've got something here, something's happening, then my mind will just be thinking about it, and sometimes for days. And other people can tell because I'm, Adam, you didn't do the washing up, etc. Oh yeah, I'm doing something really important here.
Mate, I'm so glad I'm not the only one. That's good.
There's at least two of us,
At
huh?
least two of us. Yeah, I got a funny feeling there might be more. Very good. So is there a particular space that you like to go and write? Like, is there a particular chair that you like to be in, or room? I don't know. You can see you're in your new, the new digs there. But is there generally a place that you would go to?
I'd like this new space to be that place, for sure. So I hope that that can happen. It's not really at the moment. I've mixed a song here, so there's been a song that has been given birth to in this space. That's always helpful. My band's rehearsed in here a few times. I don't think I've recorded anything in here yet, and I haven't written a song in here, but it's happening. It'll get there, and I think once sort of wear it in, then this will be the place I want to come to. Other than that, wherever there's a piece of paper and a guitar, typically, or a piano, something, some sort of keyboard, it'll do if it's comfy and warm.
Yep, fair enough. Is there a particular piece of work that you're like super proud of? One that's
That I've done.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to tell you. There have been times that I've listened to stuff that I've done and felt emotional about, and I think that that's when I feel proud, because I feel like I must have done something good with that if I was able to reflect on it and it made me feel something. But I don't know if I could say, yeah, this thing I did, Dave, I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of anything that comes out really, and that I spend the time on making, even if it's a demo. Or it takes a lot of guts to think that there's something worth pursuing and making better and better, and putting time and money into, say, making an album or a single or going on tour or something like that. Like in the beginnings, it might just be naivety and being young and just whatever. But to be able to have faith that you want to pursue your ideas and that you think that at least you're going to enjoy it, that's, in retrospect, is quite brave, really. So yeah, I've done that before. I'm proud of that.
Excellent. You mentioned inspiration a little earlier. What inspires you? Where do you draw your inspiration from?
And I think there's a few. Love, for sure. And there've been times when it might just be you've got a crush on this attractive girl that works next door in a bakery to you and inspires a song because it's all like in the movie, oh my God, which is cool. Then there's other times when it's like feels deeper than that. There's also, when love doesn't happen and you get your heart crushed. That's a very helpful inspiration for songwriting for me. Well, it was. That hasn't happened to me any times lately. Hopefully it doesn't ever happen. What else? I think depression is a pretty good one. It's not good, but it's good for songwriting if you're able to pick up an instrument or a pen and paper. I've written some what I think is my best stuff when I've been pretty far down. So I guess that's a hard one though, because who wants to be that depressed just so that they can write songs? Not me.
No, nor I. But I can relate to it as well. And what about happy songs? Do you find it easy to write happy songs?
Nope. Which is, yeah, I don't know, whatever, that's who I am, but I'd love to. I don't think I've ever written a happy song. My old bandmate and long-term friend, he wrote a happy song once, and he showed it to me on, I think he did a demo, and it's on a mini disc player. Do you remember mini discs?
Yeah, I remember mini discs, yeah.
Yeah, that was a shame that technology never really took off. But I listened to it and I knew it was good, but I didn't want to admit it because it was this happy feel to it.
Mate, your Weeds,
you know, I didn't.
The Weeds song sounded pretty happy to me, just quietly.
Well, that's true.
There you go.
And look what happened to it.
And look what happened to it. Indeed. Well, I once again, as a songwriter, I can relate to this as well because I struggle with happy songs as well. And I think maybe because when I'm happy, I'm just doing other things.
Yeah. Who wants to sit down and write a song when they're happy?
You want to get outside and enjoy life, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I could be wrong. It could just be me. Who do you admire? Who are the people you look up to, whether it's in your field or any other creative field, and why?
Oh man, that's an open question. Maybe I'll just stick to music.
Yeah, sure.
So many people. I mean, there's people of fame and notoriety, but there's also, I mean, I'm married to one of the most talented musicians in the world, and hopefully she doesn't hear that. I think I've told her. But
well, yes, I concur. I'll have her on the show if she'll come as well at some point.
I mean, of course, you would think, of course, I'd say that because, you know, she's my life partner, but it's one of the things that attracted me to her. She was a rock goddess in my eyes, a music goddess in my eyes. So that's one of the reasons I pursued her and was lucky enough to marry her. But so that one's right at home upstairs, and then there's someone like Neil Young, who's been around for ages, and just what would music be like without him, or Paul McCartney, or obviously going back way before them as well. So yeah, there's those big names, but I don't know. I forget the question now. I've got sidetracked.
Who do you admire? Who inspires you?
Yeah, I guess I admire too many people, I think.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to take you back, maybe back to that that young child in the garden with your gran. What advice would you give young Adam, or any other young creative for that matter, about being creative and pursuing a creative life?
I mean, I wouldn't want to say anything, but maybe something along the lines of whatever it took to encourage them not to veer away from that trajectory of just writing songs while you're doing something in the garden with your grandmother. It shouldn't. For me, I wish it, and at stages it has gotten to the point where I wanted to create for the wrong reasons in my eyes. It might be to become famous, or to be able to create or be a musician for a living, or so that you get heaps of listens on Spotify, or so that you get signed to a record label, etc., etc. None of that matters. I wish I'd never been there, and it's not sacrificing, but risking my creativity, which it's me, for reasons that are nothing to do with that, so I can earn a living, or compromise what my art means to me. That the little boy that's not a care in the world. He's just having a great time thinking of ideas and coming up with rubbish in his head. That's all that's important. So I wouldn't say any of this to to that person back then. But whatever it was that I said, just trying to encourage to stick with that. Like,
yeah,
keep creativity. So all it is an enjoyment.
keep it pure.
Man, it was long-winded. I don't even think I answered the question, but
No. Look, it made sense to me, Adam. It's all good. Keep it
good.
pure, I think, is what you were trying to say. Be creative for creative's sake, rather than pursuing other things.
That's what I was saying.
Yep, I knew that. I have one last question for you, and that is, every creative, I think, faces this at some point in time when it just doesn't happen. Like, no matter what you do, it's just not there. There's a block. How do you deal with blocks?
I put it down and go and do something else. I think it coincides with the previous question of, well, why am I sitting here trying to force something to come out? You know, that's fine. You force it and then it starts to come. But if it's just not coming, then what is the point? It's not enjoyable.
I love that answer. I love that answer a lot, actually. So go do something else.
Go and play soccer. Go to a strip club.
Go spend some time with your lovely.
Go and make your sick grandmother a meal or something.
I like it. And see if inspiration comes. I'm going to, well, actually, no, I don't. I do have another question. I'm going to, I mentioned distractions, but I wonder, and I do this because the whole reason behind Creative Conversations is because I'm curious. I'm curious about how other creatives work. So I'm curious to know if this happens. Do you get distracted by shiny objects? Do you the new toy that, I think you know what I mean?
Oh, I think I see what you're saying. You bought a new guitar, or you've got a new something.
Exactly.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And I've learned, well, not the hard way, but I've learned that, yes, buying a new guitar, it's good and there's things to enjoy about it, but it's not going to make you a better songwriter and it's not going to help you write more songs. It's just something else you have to learn how to use, and it's going to sidetrack you from writing your song, for instance, because you have to learn how to use the 3 knobs that are on the thing. And then at the end of it, you learn how to use it, and what does it really do for you anyway? I even find I typically like to write on the guitar that I'm used to, because it doesn't feel like I've got anything. I'm not holding anything. It's just whatever. But if I was holding something different, then yes, I'd be distracted by, say, the shiny strings or something like that, or the fact that it's a different color. But I think that's what your question is that, yeah, you're focusing on the wrong things. Or
well, I'm just curious, is if like me, if you got distracted by shiny new things that take you away from what you're trying to do. That's exactly what the question is, and I think you answered that pretty well. I'm going to let you go in a moment so you can actually go spend some time with your lovely wife. But I'm going to ask you to give some thought to perhaps who you'd like me to interview, or who I could perhaps invite along to the show. Perhaps it's someone you know that you'd like me to interview, in which case you can introduce me. I think there's already one person we know that we should invite. And that would be your lovely wife, Heather. Hopefully she'll come on the show as well and share her talents with us as well. Yeah. But is there anyone else off the top of your head you can think of?
You're looking for a musician?
Not necessarily, just someone who's creative.
I know a guy.
Yeah.
His name is Rod.
I think I know I know who Rod is.
His phone number is.
We might not go there. Well, have a chat to Rod and see if he'd like to come on.
You want me to have a chat to him for you?
Yeah, introduce me, and I'd love to have a chat to Rod as well. That'd be great.
I think he'd be very appropriate for this.
Fantastic, mate. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to end the recording, but I'm going to ask you to stay on the line. We'll have a quick chat afterwards as well, but I'll end the recording here. Thanks, mate. Great to talk to you. I will put in the show notes the links to any social media you want me to put up, your website, where people can buy your new single, which I believe is out now.
Yes.
I'm quite correct in saying that, am I not? With your
Yes.
new band, Hey Universe.
So correct.
Get out and buy it, people. Go play it on Spotify at least 100 times. That's each. All right, I'll put that in the show notes, mate. Thank you again, and good luck for future endeavors.
Cheers. Thank you for asking me and having me.
A pleasure, mate. Take care.
Cheers.
For more information, visit Creative Conversations at www.creativeconversations.com.au.